Hi everyone, I'm Sophie Milburn, editor of the MSP Channel Insights portfolio, and I'm joined today by Luca from GCX. So could you kind of introduce yourself, your role at the company, and a little bit about the company itself?
Sure. Hi, very nice to meet you. I've been in the company for 9 months,
Mhm.
so I joined GCX relatively recently, and my role is I'm responsible for the channel and the alliances globally, where the channel for us means mostly having a relationship with telecom operators. It's not kind of the traditional meaning of a channel for what could mean for a vendor. Um, at the same time, I'm managing the relationship with the key vendors that are part of our portfolio of services. So, um, what we do at GCX, essentially, we support our customers throughout the one transformation journey. So essentially, we enable large organizations, let's say mid-sized to large organizations, to deploy networking and security services with speed and agility globally. We have operations in multiple countries, and we deliver our services across the globe using leveraging our global network as well as a network of partnerships across more than 100 different countries. And our core capabilities include obviously network underlay, NOC as a service, and SD-WAN from the security perspective, SSE and SASE. Uh, that's what we do essentially.
Amazing, that was a great little introduction. Thank you very much. So you mentioned there networking and security. So the networking and security landscape has evolved significantly in recent years, and I can imagine even since starting 9 months ago. So what kind of broader shifts are you seeing in how organizations kind of design and deliver their network services today?
I mean, the shift that I see more a convergence
Mm.
for the two world. I mean, for years, networking and security were treated as separate,
Mhm.
purchased through different contracts, managed by different people, and and eventually everything was pieced together or duct taped together, I should say,
Mhm.
in ways that left the customers with complexity instead of clarity.
Mhm.
So it's clearly this separation is becoming, how can I say, less and less. It's becoming unsustainable for customers as they evolve. They demand for simpler operations, a unified visibility across the network, and consistent performances.
Yeah, why do you think
So
that kind of unified approach is so important? Obviously, we don't want it to be fragmented, but kind of beyond that, why is it so important to have such like, yeah, all of it in one place, I guess?
yeah, obviously there are multiple reasons for that. I believe first of all, the key point is that they want customers demand for one accountable outcome. And in my previous job, I was working for a vendor, for an overlay vendor, and the main point, the key objections that I used to get from CIOs was, okay, but if I have a problem, do I call you as an overlay supplier,
Yeah.
vendor overlay supplier, or do I have to call my underlay provider? So what customers want is a single end-to-end SLA as a result,
Mhm.
and a simple way to source, to procure, to purchase. So one-stop shop, one contract, one, if you wish, one throat to choke, and
Mhm.
uh, and ultimately one accountable outcome.
Yeah. And you mentioned there the kind of convergence from underlay and overlay. What does that kind of look like in practical terms for organizations delivering services across such complex environments? What does that actually kind of look like?
Yeah, this an integrated model that combines obviously underlay and overlay delivered by managed service providers removes the friction between
Mm,
the network performance and the security enforcement and the management of the service delivery. So this gives the enterprise one holistic, unified view on what's happening on their environment and who is responsible for fixing it.
right.
So it's an important shift from what I was used to when I worked for a variety of overlay cyber vendors.
Yeah. And from kind of more of, I guess, a commercial standpoint, what does that kind of convergence have an effect on with, efficiency and margins and kind of long-term customer relationships? What effects does it have there?
Yeah, that has a significant impact for an MSP, especially because the cost of operating the platform
Mm,
reduced significantly because they can do more with less effort, and that results in improving their margins, so boosting their profitability.
right. And cloud also has, seen a key driver of change in this space. So how is kind of cloud delivery accelerating the governance of network and services and security, particularly when it comes to that kind of simplification that we were talking about?
Yeah, clearly the cloud in this environment becomes an enabler. If you are able to deliver not just the security, delivering the security through the cloud is something that has been there for now 20 years. But
Mhm.
also, if you're able to deliver the network, which is the new wave that SASE brought from the cloud, and you can manage everything from the cloud, obviously that makes everything easier.
Yeah.
Deployments run smoothly, and global rollout takes months and not anymore multi-years
Yeah.
projects.
Fantastic. What would you say maybe some of the biggest technical or organizational barriers that partners are facing now when trying to move away from those fragmented models that we talked about, and how can that kind of start to become addressed?
Yeah, from maybe there's two school of thoughts on that.
Mm,
When you speak to customers, those who really get the advantages of having one unified view on the business delivered through one MSP. And there's a second school of thought that still prefer to have a segregation, to have a kind of disalignment between the two layers.
right.
And I believe that was is mostly driven by vendors who obviously cannot provide underlay. And I was one of them, try to convince and evangelize, educate the market that a segregation between underlay and overlay it's better. Yes, it's true. If you have to exit the contract and you have two suppliers, that might be easier. Um, but that's the only reason, the only minor advantage I would call out, as opposed to have one single contract, as I said before. Other than that, I can't think of any other obstacle, just a different customer mindset around that aspect.
Yeah, that makes sense. My mindset seems to also be a massive thing. And kind of, my final question and always my favorite question would be kind of looking ahead to the next few years. What do you kind of see happening in the channel? What kind of evolutions do you predict will come next? And what do you think will differentiate partners to succeed in that phase?
Yeah, no, I firmly believe that this is what the market demands, and I see that the next phase of growth will be delivered by by MSPs, by those providers that can deliver both the physical underlay, the foundation layer, as well as the overlay on
Mhm.
top. And with a caveat, the caveat is that the customer, the market demands for agility, flexibility, speed.
Mhm.
So if you think of a traditional old school, old-fashioned telecom operator, that might not be the best fit for the today's environment, the today's context, which the business demands for agility, flexibility, and speed. So that's why I believe that a nimble and agile MSPs like GCX is very well positioned to execute and to capture the market opportunity.
Fantastic. Well, that's all my questions. Thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure.